Hey, I'm Weekend Gabe, and you're checking out Weekend at Gabe's, and thanks for checking out this latest episode. While you're here, also follow us on these social medias at Weekend Gabe, at Weekend at Gabe's, and also at The Real Sam Crane. Thanks for checking us out.
Crane. We're going to keep the R&B soul vibe going with a very unique individual who has a very authentic sound of his own that he calls Neon Soul. It's a pleasure to introduce Nate Barksdale to the show here on Weekend at Gabe. How are you, sir?
Oh shit! I'm great. How are you?
Are you ready for us? Do we need to give
Oh
you an
yeah.
30 seconds?
You know, when you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Yeah, I like it.
Ready?
Listen,
When you're barely ready, that's how you know you're ready.
There we go. Look, and we're also breaking Nate's cherry on Twitch. This is his first time on this platform.
I'm giving you air horns for that one. That's for sure.
I was super nervous. I thought we were gonna play like Call of Duty 5 or some shit. I was like, hey, dude, I don't know. Can they like see me while we play the game? Like, I don't know. Like, how does this work?
Maybe in the future that'd be a great idea. We'll do interviews.
Hey, Complex, if you're out there, reach out. I got an idea for you.
Yeah,
with Nate Barksdale. We just sit down and play games with people.
Yeah, so we can talk afterwards about percentages and IP. How are you guys doing? How's it going, Weekend Gabe? And excuse me, Sam, is that your name?
Sam. You can call me Sam, the real Sam Crane, whatever works for you, man.
For sure.
All good.
How's it going, guys?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. The new album that you have out, The Colors I've Never Seen, with DJ Chung Wizard over on Chung Wizard Records. It's fantastic. It's I know you describe your sound. I think you still describe it as neon soul. And it's kind of like the way you were describing it to friend of the show Joe Hopkins when you were on Vocalo a few years back. It's sort of an automated update of late '90s R&B. And our last guest, Jazz Moore, was also talking about sort of like trying to capture that nostalgic feel of that time period. But you're trying to capture it, but also reinvent it a little bit as well.
For sure. That's a great way to put it, too. Like, kind of peering into the past with a futuristic lens. Like, it's a deconstructive process. So a lot of the stuff that I do is just like, like essentially similar to sampling, but it's from a songwriter perspective, like it's kind of like, okay, like, that guitar tone and like this Chic record is fire. Like, who did the credits? Oh, Niles Rodgers. Okay, cool. Like, they did Daft Punk's Get Lucky. Just kind of like using the past as like a source of education, but also like leaning into the fact that these dudes were fucking spaced out. Like, especially Niles and Guy and even Pharrell. Like, you spend 5 minutes in a Pharrell interview and you feel like you're high, and you find out then he doesn't smoke weed, and you're just even more amazed. So I'm a true like music nerd. Like, that's why, like I like to have these conversations and be super specific, not in that like type of like hipsterish Christopher Columbus, like I was here first type of thing, but more so just like just enjoying music history and just loving music. That's kind of like my shit.
Is that something that's common for you as far as like looking back through the credits of songs to find certain things or specific things you find interesting?
Yeah, for sure. I do that a lot. Specifically, like, streaming has a pretty cool function where you could just see the writers. Right. So a lot of the times I'll look for,
wasn't always there though, right?
It wasn't, and it's still not like as extensive as it should be because it only has writers. So that would technically exclude engineers if they don't give you like a lyric or melody idea.
Or even composers or whatever.
Exactly. People who just like arrange, like technically maybe they wouldn't get credit. But so yeah, there's varying levels of details with the credits nowadays. But I do like to dig into it. I even appreciate when it's not there right away. And then you hear in an interview, it's like, no, actually, like Scott Storch did that. Like, yeah, like Tim produced it. But like Scott Storch really played those keys, and it's even more special sort of connection you have with either the writer or the producer that's like, wow, you did that thing. Like, I love that. Because songwriting, let's be honest, like it's kind of vague. It can be vague as far as what someone's actually doing. So
right.
That's funny you guys bring this up, because I was just thinking today about how much I miss the experience of opening the album, but the booklet itself and looking through all the writing credits and then picking up the names, and that was like the best way for me to follow who was doing what, because they would appear on other records. I'm like, oh, now it's a trend, and I know who they are, and because of the digital age that we're at, we definitely lost a sense of who the people who are making these fucking records are. Unless it's like spotlighted, like a Pharrell, or someone does a YouTube video on the writer. It's like we really don't know who sort of these heroes are.
Yeah, I've thought about that a lot, especially as an artist and as someone who like uses their real name. Which I don't know if that's cool anymore, but whatever. Never been one to like really follow trends that much. It's interesting because people will start to catch on to certain things. Like I always wonder what it would be like if I was some idea or day of the week, like Thursday, or
or Friday, maybe, or Sunday,
or Friday or Sunday. I like what you did there. Yeah. So obviously the days of the week are really always on my mind. Those are two of the titles you can listen to on The Colors I've Never Seen. But yeah, I always question that, just what it would be like to be like a sort of an idea, and in the future, and like kind of in the present, the thing I'm working through really as like a, not just someone who's just like a musician, but like I really look at myself as kind of less of a musician, more of a creative, like artist type, someone who can really just come in and with well-researched like opinions, kind of like give my 2 cents on whatever we're talking about, whatever the medium is. I've just been thinking of how to kind of position myself as more of an entity and less of this person that you think because I mean, we just met right now. Like, you might know me from an interview or something.
Right.
But I feel like what we're talking about, like when you're talking about the essence of like what someone does, like it's important to have that credit. But a lot of these credits go to these bigger ideas, like with music, or even like what y'all do in terms of media. There's conglomerates for a reason, because you want to work with the best people. You want to be inspired to do your best shit. And you don't want to be like the only dope person in the room. Like you want to be a part of something bigger and better. And so that's kind of what I've been doing with Space Cowboy Records, like my own independent label, just trying to figure out ways to just incorporate other people's talents, and also like get back to kind of me as me, and then art as something that I do.
Right. I want to talk about Space Cowboy Records in a little bit, but you described yourself as trying to become more of an idea, a little bit more abstract. A word I would use to describe you is world builder, because you create these not only soundscapes, but I saw in another interview how you sort of break down what that means. This cityscape that you've created in your mind. Cashville, Tennessee is a good example. But there are also other albums with similar, titles. You describe a sort of a desert town in Atlanta. The name escapes me. But
Atlanta, Montana.
That's the one. Yes. So talk about a little bit of that, and like, because I feel that that's unique. People don't usually let their imagination run free on a track. They're sort of goal oriented. I want to finish this song or whatever it is. But you're like, no, I want to build this world, sort of like J.R.R. Tolkien almost.
Oh my God. Yeah, one of the most detailed writers ever. Like the Rick Ross of fucking whatever that is. I don't know if that's...
I'm giving the name on.
Dude, he's the Rick Ross of fantasy, bro.
Yeah. Fantasy,
That's a great question, though.
Rick Ross of fantasy.
So like, in terms of where that comes from, it's an influx of all the things that I really like. Like I really love movies for the story. Like I love the characters. I love the mise en scène, like the vibe, the aesthetics of it. So that's kind of one aspect of me, but then there's this other aspect of me that's just a curious world traveler, like I like going to different cities. I like going to different cultures. I like kind of being that fly on the wall and like really observing what's going on in the scene. Um, like one of the coolest moments ever I remember is like, I've talked about this before, but like going to, and I love that y'all did research. So this might sound redundant, but for people who don't know, and for your audience, like I went to London for a year and I did a lot of studying and I did a lot of DJing and work out there. But basically, the coolest part of the night was when my set was done and I got to watch all the other like DJs go and do their shit, and just learning about bashment music and how it's kind of like their African diaspora dance music. You go to like different cities in the US, you got juke music, you got Baltimore house, you got hyphy music in the Bay, you got
shout out the Bay, man. Yeah.
Exactly. Like you got all these different dope like pockets. And like the Bay is a great example of its own world. Like if you were to go there and you had no history of like digital underground, or like you didn't even know that like all this like the stuff
you had
that
no idea who E40 had was.
Exactly.
Like,
Mac Dre,
exactly. Mac Dre from the Bay. Like, so when you like try to find Mac Dre's music, like it's tough.
Yeah.
But that in essence is kind of like why you need the music, because if you got the music, then you would get in your head this imagination of like, damn, this is what it feels like to be in the Bay. Like, and that's always what music's done to me, more so than film. Is it's all about picturing where you are, because you're limited. Like it's not sound and visual and whatever, it's just sound. So yeah, like I really try to take people places because that's what music's done for me. That's what it's always done for me. It's an escape. So I like to lean into that a little bit more than your average artist, because like I said, I'm not really like doing this shit from the perspective of like, man, they're gonna respect me as a musician or a hip hop. Like I respect myself. Like I love the shit I've done. I've worked hard at it. This is like a grind for me. Like I'm always learning something new. Sure. But then what I'm adding to it, like, is yes, like I understand the Tolkien references. Like I went and saw the extended edition. Like it's mad long. It's too fucking long. Like Peter Jackson just couldn't help himself. But when you get a project like that, when you get an opportunity, you got to show out. And like it's not always gonna be pretty. So to answer that question, it comes from just me being like a big movie buff and wanting to fill out that picture in people's heads.
Absolutely.
One of the things in your background that I kind of understand and relate to is this sense of sort of being alone. Like you were talking about this in as far as attending a selective enrollment school at Whitney Young, but it's like when that happens, and my son is kind of going through the same thing. Yeah, it's like you don't have the connectivity to the neighborhood kids because you're not part of that group that may be going to a local school. You're going outside and you're experiencing it, but your travels are alone because you're not with anyone else. So how, and there's a comfortability, it seems like, with yourself going to London and doing that exploration on your own and channeling all these different parts of sounds in a sort of isolated module of sorts. Talk about like that comfortability of just having the music in yourself and not really needing a lot around you to create.
I'll be honest, Weekend Gabe. It's fucking scary, dude. I think in terms of what your son's going through, like I can only imagine what it would be like today. Like when I went to London, I didn't even have a smartphone. So I would like like I would have to bell people literally from like a fucking Nextel block phone that I like bought from like some sketchy like corner electronics store.
You just got to buy the SIM card,
like,
baby. That's how it works out there.
dude, I was so ill prepared. But then I was like over prepared because I was nervous. So I had like 2 laptops because I was like, yo, what if one of them breaks? Like, what if like, like, I don't know, all these different scenarios. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, in just talking about that feeling, it's scary, but it's like that's what it takes to grow. So it's like one of those necessary trade-offs that's like, yeah, like in their first couple years, or I don't know where they're at in their studies, but like, yeah, it's going to be tough for your son. It was definitely tough for me, but that's kind of where like music became my best friend. Like I had an iPod Shuffle out there in 2015,
Right.
so
Hell yeah.
I would put all these records on, like before I went on a little jaunt, like a little walk to smoke my Delta 8, or my it's legal. So yeah, this is Delta 8. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
So yeah,
Go in.
I would I would load up those tracks, right? And then just like life and in the whole box of chocolates thing, it's like you never know what you're gonna get. So you just gotta go into it with that open mind of like, yo, I think I'm supposed to be here. Like I don't really know about everything else. I can't control everything else, but I think I'm supposed to be here. I think I'm supposed to do this. I think this is a part of my journey. I think this is a part of what I'm supposed to be doing. So in trusting that, I kind of, put the game on shuffle, so to speak, and really when I got back, I reevaluated, okay, who do I want to be around?
Right.
Like, to that earlier point of like, you want to be around the people that are pushing you, that are helping you get to that next level. And yeah, I think just putting yourself in different positions helps with that. But also, yeah, always moving around can be lonely in itself. So it's this crazy balance that even today I'm not struck of, like trying to be in the right rooms, but also being okay with wherever I am is the right room. And sometimes I need to just be in the room fucking alone. But
right.
I think this is something that we can all relate to, right?
Yeah.
No,
absolutely.
I want to talk a little bit. You mentioned the iPod Shuffle, and I want to talk a little bit about it because we spoke about it in our pre-production meeting, and I was explaining to Gabe that I had a very similar situation. I watched in another interview you talked about sort of growing up, hearing a lot of gospel in the house. Not only a lot of gospel, but a lot of rock music. AC/DC, guitarists, things like that, Van Halen. But you said something unique, which not everybody says. A lot of people say that's still the music I fuck with to this day. But you said, nah, I didn't really like any of it. But when I got that shuffle, that gave me the music autonomy. And I really related to that because I had a very similar experience. Like with my sister, who used to control pretty much my whole music library. And then I was like, wait, I got my own thing. I can download 50 Cent now. Like, whoa, this is crazy. But talk about that sort of release of like control over your music library and you being able to just like curate that for yourself and what that meant to you.
Dude, it's such a unique experience, and I think we share a lot of similarities. So to get really specific, the first iPod I got was actually a Nano. Somehow I went backwards while most people would naturally go forwards. So I got a Nano for free as a part of like basically like an honor roll thing. Like it was like you put your names in a hat and like pick it out. And I got a Nano. I manifested it too, because I literally was like, I'm gonna get this, and then I did, and I was like, oh shit. Who would have known? In like as like a 13-year-old who's not listening to music, who's like not digging Joe Satriani, who's like not digging like any of that shit. Who would have known that then it would have turned into a lifelong passion, a skeleton key that opens all the doors, as Pharrell says. It's like something that I could have never predicted, but in somewhat just speaking it into existence, here we are now talking Weekend Gabe and Sam, my new friend Sam Crane. So the Nano, I had a little more control, and that's kind of the point. Is yes, you do get control, but similar to your story, I had an older sibling. I had an older brother. Shout out Adam. He just texted me, by the way, like today, and he's an amazing brother, but like I've put out so much music, and he's like, he'll keep it real. He'll be like, yo, I like this, I don't like that, or I haven't listened to this yet. Like I'm gonna get to it. He's got kids, so I understand. But he just texted me. He was like, yo, Feet in the Sand is crazy, nuts, dope vibe, and I was like, okay, like that's good. That's a good cosign, because he's actually the one that showed me like Mac Dre in the Bay, like Justice, Daft Punk, James Brown, like just like good shit. And he put a lot of shit into my library. He showed me how to like, download music and like cop music and just get my shit right. And then even my other brother, I have two older brothers, but the other one time he just like took my iPod one day, and I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, where's my iPod? Like, that was my Christmas present,
Right.
It comes back like at night, like it was either that same day or the next day, and it was just laced with just like all the music he was listening to. So it was again just like that cool experience of like, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna curate my shit, but again, like I said, I was a movie kid, so I had Superbad on there. Like I had like I didn't even have like a good movie really. Like shout out Superbad, but
I still got Superbad on my phone to this day.
Superbad. You gotta remember, paint the picture. This is like 2009, so everything was changing. The shit they were listening to was different. Like it was the seeds for what they're gonna listen to now and like in the future. But like that's where I came from, is like, okay, I was getting laced with shit. Probably didn't even start picking my own music. It still was different though. Okay, so because around 2010 is when I started making music, like very shortly after that. Like, because I remember it was Christmas of 2009, so that turned into 2010, and at that point I had already downloaded FL Studio and was like getting going on my own shit. So it's a weird chain of events. It was actually very fast in terms of being like a consumer to being like, okay, I want to make this shit. I want to figure out like what's going on. How do I make beats?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because you also taught yourself how to play guitar. Was it not guitar? You taught yourself how to DJ and also how to play the piano. But what kind of special dedication does it take to learn not to play one instrument, but DJing is a form of instrumentation, but like to teach yourself how to do that as well? Because I can't like focus for more than like maybe a few minutes on anything.
do you all DJ ever? Like,
I got my spot right here,
Okay, so you DJ?
Yeah.
Gabe have you ever DJ'd, Gabe?
Gabe has some audio experience, but I wouldn't call it DJ.
No, not in that sense. No, I mean I would love to learn for someone to really school me on it. So maybe I go over to Nate's house from now on and just hang out.
No, it's funny because I don't actually have any DJ gear. I sold it all a long time ago, but when I was learning to DJ, I was literally just learning on like, I asked this because I'm like, because I think DJing is this very interesting thing in music that like can connect a lot of people, but then also like divides people too. Because I'm not really young anymore. I'm 26, but like I'm still very young in my appreciation for music.
Yeah.
Like, but I understand like even the shit I talk about now is outdated. Like I'm like, oh, I grew up on virtual DJ, and like kids are like, what is that? Like you never did that to like DJ a house party? Like before you could just put on like a playlist of songs, you had to like YouTube mix. Like I YouTube mix for people, and they're like, "Oh my god, that's crazy! Like, how'd you just
the
blend
YouTube
those
mix
songs?"
is a skill that like
but it's
probably
like,
only we got. Yeah, right.
It was a different. It's like I can't touch vinyl and like no, like I'm not DJing like that. So like I just want to be clear and also too like be open about it because I think it could be a thing like DJ culture is mad serious in the UK, you know, like in Jamaica. Like I love DJing 100% because I'm more of a selector. Like I like to put on the records, and I learned a lot when I was over there about just like the timing of when you play shit, more so than like the actual like energy of this. Like, no, it has to do with the energy of the song. They're kind of tied together. Like I remember I was playing a gig one time and I started playing some Chief Keef at like I think it was like 9 p.m. or something. And
gotta wait till at least 10 to throw.
Yeah, it might have been. I think it might have been.
It sounds early. Yeah,
early to be honest. But they came up to me, and this is how I knew it was too early. They came up to me and be like, "Yo, it's the warm up, blood. Like, what you playing, bro?" Like, and I was like, "The warm up." He's like, "They're like, put on some throwbacks in it. Like, put on some like something else. Like, this is not the vibe." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like, but then it's like my throwbacks are different from theirs, and it's just like, but that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of like just learning a different vibe and a different sound. And
yeah, why don't you play some So Solid Crew, Nate? God damn it.
I do, because I don't know what that is. I don't. They're like, you ain't got no So Solid in your Serato. Like, this is a CDJ, man. I just burnt this CD. Like dude, I was like, CDJs are different. Like, that's a whole different thing. I had to learn that.
Yeah, like, we spoke to DJ All the Way K. She was like, I'm different than most people because my shit actually spins. And she was really, she stood on that, like, you know. She was like, my shit spins, your shit whack, you know, like.
Dude, it's the thing. Like, it's different. And it's different vibes. Like when I like play shit like out loud, and there's people there, I don't even spend like more than like 2 minutes on a song ever.
Oh yeah.
Like, or like sometimes I'll just put on a song, scrub to the part that I like, some Panic at the Disco, just play the whole beginning, and then like just we're on to like
something different.
We're on to Hate Being Sober.
Yeah.
we're on to like the next thought. Like,
yeah.
So that's kind of how I like to learn too. Just like pick up something new. Like I've been learning guitar and just, you know, like you. It was funny because you were like, "Oh, you don't play guitar," and I was like, "Yeah, I don't, but I'm learning. I'm teaching."
No, because your brother plays guitar, right?
So, yeah.
Yes. There you go. So that's why I was like, "Oh, wait, my notes are a little bit fumbled around." So making sure.
No, you totally good.
Got give the proper credit.
Yeah, and I love that you even know that. You know, like, I don't know, man. I appreciate that's a good question. Very good questions, all of these.
I really appreciate you. That's what we do on this show. We got to do some research because there's too many interview shows that ain't doing no research. So that's what we love to do. Another thing we love to do is have some fun and throw some fun questions. And I got a couple for you on my end. But you talked about burning CDs and burning tapes, which is also something that only like a 25 to 27-year-old could really grasp because it was a long time ago. Weekend Gabe, he went through the mixtape era. We was a little young.
That's
but
beautiful.
We was burning CDs back in the day. Weekend Gabe, he was burning whole cassette tapes. That was different. That was a different hustle.
Listen, it wasn't called burning. It was called dubbing. Get it right.
Okay.
You got a dub.
Fair enough.
Dub.
Out of anybody on planet Earth, you can commission anybody to burn you a mixtape CD. Who are you asking to burn you a tape?
Probably.
And if you say Zafoon Jones, I'm gonna be like, yes.
Yo, where? Oh man,
I know you're a big Chitty Bang fan. I ain't have time to get to that.
Oh man, you just brought me back to 2008 in my mom's basement. Everybody was a kid, and I once was a kid. Now.
Yeah. The jams, bro. Bring
I'm
back
not
Chitty Bang.
sorry.
Wherever you're at, Zafoon Jones, link back up with Chitty Bang. I think we need some more music.
That was such, dude. That when there's a couple songs like, and the whole concept was just ill too. I think about that a lot. Like, I'm gonna answer your question. I'm gonna answer your question.
You're good.
But you just brought up a whole thing, like that era of music and like the concept of like, oh, we're gonna rap over the craziest, poppiest, danciest shit. Like it was just like a weird approach. Anyway, but also too great music.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
It worked. Like the experiment worked. Some of my favorite shit. Anyway, one person, probably Rick Rubin, because I would want any of these people that we would name, I think would have to have like a really good music taste. And for me, another important thing is they would know something that I just don't know at all. Like I want something that's like a little different from my normal taste. You know what I mean?
Now, follow-up question to that. Rick Rubin is first off not going to burn you a CD. He's going to burn you a vinyl. I don't know how he's going to do it, but he's going to do it. Yeah. And basically
a 45.
Yeah, literally. That's what's going to be on with you. But would you ask him to pick songs that he specifically worked on, or would you ask him to pick songs that he did not work on, he just likes?
Just likes.
Just
anything. Just anything. I would almost too put a prompt in, be like, yo, give me some shit you think I should listen to. Okay. Like you would want me to listen to, like almost like I would want it to be like, yo, your shit not hitting like this. You know what I mean? Low key, just be real and like I'm into music. I'm into like there's so many different cultures of music and shit that we just don't know about. And yeah, music is a rare art form too, because John Mayer said this in an interview one time. He said that like fashion, he would compare it more so to like a realm of like the new and like the cutting edge and the avant-garde. Like a lot of the shit that's popular and like commercial or like put on like a certain pedestal at a time, like at fashion weeks or something, is like they show out and like they do something that's crazy, that's never been done before. But in music, it don't really work like that in terms of what people like and what sells. It's usually like something more familiar. Like it's like one of the few like really like supposedly like high art forms that gets regarded that way. And it's interesting because it's just sometimes like shit works that way. Like that's why you have like different regional genres in itself, and people want to listen to something that reminds them of something else. So I understand that. But yeah, I think what I try to do is just like push it forward a little bit, like, and just really like play with like the bounds of what it is. Like what is like the whatever you're listening to or whatever this place is. Like that's kind of just scratching the surface.
Sure.
But there's more to it. You know, there's more to music than just like, you know, kind of what you see when you press play and you like I don't know, like the idea that it exists to be listened to again and again is strange. Because think about it, like you see a movie, okay, you love your favorite movie, maybe you rewatch it a lot,
right?
But there's gonna get to a point, even with a song, where you're like, damn, I don't want to rewatch that. And like that's, I don't know, that's interesting too. Like I've had to take breaks from movies because I'm like, I can't watch this movie anymore. Like, you know, I need to like move on. And then I get a new album and then I'm like, oh shit, this album is crazy. Like, and that's just a good feeling. And I want to give that to fans, you know, just people who are fans of music, you know, just to have that new, like you open up the shoebox and it's like, oh shit, it's the new thing. And it like, it's nice. And it feels good. But yeah, I think Rick Rubin for sure.
Hell yeah. Gabe, you got anything else?
The name of your album right now, the one that's the latest, is The Colors I've Never Seen.
Yeah.
Name a color that you have not seen.
Oh, this is the best question of all time.
That's a tough one. For me, as a colorblind individual, haven't seen any of them.
Are you colorblind?
Yeah, no.
Are you really?
Red,
how the fuck did I not know this?
Red is my favorite color. I've never seen red before. How crazy is that? It's a mind fuck.
So, do you see? Okay, let's talk on
color blindness is different for everyone, though.
Yeah, let's talk on terms that we can all understand, though. Okay, so do you see warm?
I see a color spectrum that if this is your regular human color spectrum and this is red over here, my shit shifted a little bit. So I see what I consider to be red is like duller, I guess, than like what people are seeing as like a bright red. Like I don't, if somebody has a red t-shirt on, I realize I see the texture of the t-shirt before, like the texture reaches my eyes before the color does. I don't know why that is, but that's just how my eyes work.
You're seeing like the fibers of the fucking.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
That's deep. Okay, so I think okay, so there's like if it was even like browns and stuff, like shades of brown, like I think there's like there's like a dull and then there's like a really bright. I think just bright colors in general are just like super fascinating in terms of like how they affect your psyche. And dull colors like brown is so in right now. Like it's crazy.
Yeah,
like everyone's wearing brown and shit. And
goddamn Yeezy slats are right here, you know?
Yeah. Oh, the butterscotch, man. So to answer your question, it would be a bright ass color. It'd probably be like imagine like seeing like rose gold, but like it's really rose gold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's almost like a little like warmer and bright bright too.
Yeah.
And
bright.
So that's it. Yeah. Damn, that was hard. That was probably you really had me thinking. I was like
well, I'll throw this in there. I'm also colorblind, so I can't differentiate between brown and green. I always struggled with this. And purple and blue. Fuck it, forget it. I have to like ask my 12-year-old son to ask me if something matches because I'm like I have no fucking clue.
Like the whole dress, like the dress thing. Like
that was a problem for me growing up. I used to get clowned on the playground for sure. Sucks. Like, why are you wearing that with that?
Yeah. No, and in regards to, you know, just like the whole spectrum, like people's different spectrums, I think they're, you know, for the title, like him being, you know, this person from Canada, you know, this white guy from Canada, like me being like a black dude from Chicago, like the whole idea of it wasn't really just to like lean into like anything specific, but more so really just tap into the imagination and see where the conversation goes. And like, you know, as someone who sees, like, I see a lot of different colors and like, I do see color and I see people for, you know, I try to ask at least how they want to be seen and like try to understand them in that regard. So like, that's kind of like how I look at people. And like, so just learning about y'all like is interesting to me. And so I appreciate the time and like just getting to learn personal things about you guys and for us to talk in this way too, because it's really dope interview and like probably one of my favorite interviews like I've done to date.
There you go. I love it.
Love it for that. That's what we're talking about.
Nate Barksdale joining us here tonight on Weekend at Gabe. It's a new record, The Colors I've Never Seen, with DJ Chong Wizard, out on all digital streaming platforms. Go support. We appreciate your time so much and reaching out to us. I didn't even get a chance to ask you why you deleted your Instagram. Okay, 30 seconds. Why did you delete your Instagram?
30 seconds. Well, I'll tell you right now.
I think that's. I was wondering if that was the answer. Like you're just gonna run off.
So this is an exclusive weekend at Gabe.
Exclusive. We always gotta throw the siren if it's an exclusive. It is what it is.
Yo, yeah. So I got this.
You pushing this 30 seconds, man.
As far as says, I always say my blessings right before I eat my meal. If you're at my table, it's because you kept it real. Just like I had to realize, man, like me, Nate Barksdale, people gotta know me. And Nate from Space Cowboy Records, that's the GM's office. Hit the DM for the GM, okay? And that's it. And I just wanted to say, cop this. It's that new tangerine tears. Colors I've never seen. That's what I was grabbing. Yeah, that looks ill.
Hell yeah, that's
fire. That shit?
Yeah.
You see the reflection?
Yeah. Hey, that's my face in that bitch right now.
Yeah, I think you're in there, dude.
There you go. I can see Sam in there. There you go.
Yeah, that's the quick and the long and the short of it. Like it's still, I'm still obviously me, like, but you got to meet me, like, email me, like, I appreciate you just being like, yo, check your email. Okay, cool. Like, my just email me. Like I'm here to do business. I'm a
All right,
Kim
cool.
K said it. Like, we got to, I'm a businessman, like, come on. So I'm just appreciative of you guys, and that was way more than 30 seconds. But sorry,
we appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate y'all for real.
Oh, yeah. All right, sounds good. Nate, enjoy the rest of your evening, drinking and smoking, whatever it is your vice is. Finish that up. We appreciate it. The new album's out there. We'll talk to you soon. All right.
All right. Have a good one, guys. Thank you very much.
Peace out.
All right, Nate Barksdale joining us here on Weekend at Gabe's. That was hella fun.
That was fun. It was a long episode, but it was fun.
Hey, I'm Weekend Gabe. Thanks for checking out this latest episode of Weekend at Gabe's. Click on any of the links swirling around my head, and also hit the subscribe button while you're here. Thanks for checking out us here on YouTube.